number two, simply, is create your wealth system. How to know what you make, spend, and keep. This is the point here where I'm going to give you some practical steps, what you can literally set up from here that will help you. I've been on enough calls. I've been doing this long enough now where I've come back and spoke to different groups like this, where I've spoke like to them a year ago. They've gone and actually implemented some of this, and people are telling me like, this either saved my business from going out of business, or like, I have more cash now than I've ever had. Like, I want you to have that same type of story. So this is how to create that type of system in your business. I don't care if you're doing 0 deals and you're on your first, or if you're doing 1,000 deals a year. This is where now you can get a grasp around where the money is going. So if you have one big bank account, this is one of the other biggest mistakes I see a lot of entrepreneurs make in general. You have one big bank account, all the money goes in, all the money goes out, and you have no clarity. It's just, the money's there. If there's money there, I'll spend it. If there's not money there, I need to be a bit more frugal today. It's not, you don't know what's yours, what's payroll, what's marketing, where there's no clarity whatsoever. No clear decisions can be made. Then you feel guilty if you ever do take money out. I ran into this today as well too. I had on a call with another lady, and she's like, I am scared to take money out of my business because I don't know if that's going to hurt the rest of the business as well too. A lot of people feel guilty but they don't know. They have just one big bank account. Where's all this money going? Is it mine? Is it profit? Is it tax time and I have to pay taxes? Like, just a lot of the things to plan for as a real estate investor, business owner. So that's where I want to attack this one, because this one's an easy one to overcome. I want you to set up the modernized envelope system in your business. If you know the envelope system, that's where you put different envelopes for different expenses in your personal life, so you know when that money's gone, can't spend any more on that expense. Same thing here. If the word budget scares you, this should help you a lot, because this is way better than a budget. This is helping you know where the dollars are going and giving you a system for that without it becoming this huge monster and nightmare. So I want you to do the modernized envelope system, because as a business owner, you don't need to be stuffing envelopes. You need to be leveraging what you're already doing. I guarantee almost 99% of the people on here have a phone that has banking apps on it, and you check it on a daily or at least a weekly basis. Versus, unless you're Sherrod and have a background in accounting, checking a QuickBooks software or something like that, or REsimpli, on a daily or weekly basis of where your money's going. That's where I want to leverage what you're already doing. This is what spoke to me as the entrepreneur. It's what spoke to Jody. Like, actually having bank accounts, because I'm going to look at them anyway. I might as well know what the dollars are assigned for, where I'm going to be spending them, and what I want to use them for. I'm sending my soldiers to battle versus just going out there haphazardly, just shooting in the dark. So here we go. The golden trio of accounts. This is the first 3 I want you to set up. And I get it. I get my MO. I look like the numbers guy, and I look like I would like Harry Potter and Star Wars. But I love these 3. I love this epic sagas because they have 3 main heroes, right? The ones that you get attached to. Harry, Ron, Hermione, Luke, Han, Leia. Your business is your epic saga, okay? It doesn't get any bigger than your life, than what you're going to pass on. Your business, the things that you are building right now, is either going to be sold off one day, passed down to the next generation, or something. I don't want you to go out of business or ruin everything because you don't have a simple system. So that's where the golden trio are there to make sure you win in the end, that the emperor is defeated or that Voldemort is taken down, like making sure that at the end of your career, your tenure as a real estate investor, that in your mind, you've won, whatever that means to you, the financial freedom you want today. That's where I want you to have a golden trio. So what is that golden trio? These 3 accounts help you keep more of the money. Because this is where most people struggle with, is actually feeling like the business owner. And is it worth it? This is where Joey's struggle was. The first 3 accounts: profit, owner's comp, and owner's tax. Profit and owner's comp, I get the question all the time, what's the difference between these accounts? Profit, the difference is frequency of when you take it out and what the money is earmarked for. Profit is taken out quarterly, up to 50% of what's in that account to use for whatever you want. Pay down debt on your portfolio, go out there and spend money on a boat. I don't care. The profit is why you started your business and helping you fund that dream. The owner's comp account is what we talked about from number 1. It is my favorite account because it is the one that the light bulb turns on the most when we work with people. Owner's comp is where, how much do you need to pay yourself consistently to make sure you're not in your own rat race in the business? So that way it's like, okay, how much do we need to keep? Then the owner's comp is, how often can I fill that number up enough on a monthly basis to take that from the business? And if you're like, well, I'm just getting off the ground, well then good, then you have a goal to get to of, I need to be able to fund this account and see that. So that's where it's like, or if you're down the road and like, I'm not paying myself enough, what do you need to pay yourself and how much can you put towards owner's comp right now? Then owner's tax, that's also the frequency for owner's comp is like weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, like that's more frequent owner's comp than the profit. Profit's more like icing on the cake. Owner's comp is getting you out of your rat race. Owner's tax is like, if you're going to owe taxes at the end of the year, you don't have a bunch of rentals, you're not doing cost segregation, you're not doing the depreciation game, and you can't go down to zero every year. You need a tax bucket, a tax account. So that way at tax time, you're not running around like a chicken with your head cut off. What, it's April right now. So most people won't be due till September, October-ish there because you'll file an extension, because I know all y'all. So that's where even if you are filing the extensions and such, you need to make sure you have taxes at tax time if you're going to owe. So don't have that be another financial strain when it doesn't need to be, when it's something we can plan for and be intentional about. There's your golden trio to help you keep more of the money. There are other foundational accounts because it's not just all about keeping it. It's about growing the business and making sure you know what you're bringing in. And it's the third account there, that number 6 is keeping you out of a Ponzi scheme, but I'll talk about that in a second. Income is separate from OPEX. OPEX everyone has. It's the bad guy of the business. It's the Voldemort or whatever. It's the one that's the outflow of money goes from. It's the one that's constantly going out. Income is separate from OPEX, where now you probably have your money coming in and out of the same account right now. I would set up an income account as like a deposit account where all deposits come into that income account and sit there until you transfer them to first the golden trio and then to OPEX. So making sure you're funding your keep accounts and then funding your spend account, that OPEX account, so you know, do I have enough to keep the business going and fund what I want from the business, what I want to keep. OPM is specifically for the real estate investing world, other people's money. And if you're, well, for the real estate investing world and anyone who borrows money, because if you borrow the money and you're getting the draws directly paid to you, or you get the lump sum at closing when you purchase the property, instead of lumping that all in with all of your other money and feeling really good that you have a big bank balance and giving yourself that false sense of security, put it in a separate account. So that way, when you do rehab projects and things like that, you're not touching your OPEX money, or you're not touching their money for your OPEX, like the OPM and the other people's money. Because now you have a very clear view of, I have this many projects, I have 10 projects going on, they all need, and I need, 500,000 to complete all of them. Do I have 500,000 in the OPM? So it's very clear to see, do I have enough to finish all the projects that I still have going on? It's just giving you that clarity, plus to know, hey, I'm not touching that money. This is for the projects that we have going on. Because it's very easy for, project A, the money's gone. Then you go to lender B on project B, and then he starts funding project A, but he doesn't know about it. And then it's like, oh, great, we're in a Ponzi scheme because now other lenders are funding the previous deals. Don't get to that position. That's a horrible position to be in. If you've been there, I don't want you there. If you are there now, there's a way out. Set up this system. Get yourself back on track. The profit first system is the greatest system if you're not profitable to become profitable, to help you know how unprofitable are we now versus where I want to be. Because I get that question a lot too. Should I set this up if I'm not profitable? That's why you should, is because now if you aren't profitable, we need to get on the track of the habits of people that have profitable businesses. There's the 6 accounts that I would set up. And if you're like, oh man, that's a lot of accounts. First of all, there's a bank that's profit first centered that I'll give you at the end as well too, that helps set this up very easily online. But then also as well, I want to make sure that you at least have a simple system. Just go out and set up one account, name it profit, transfer 1%. It's more about the habit of profitability than it is necessarily the bank accounts or anything. I'm trying for you to get to live in why you started your business. And that's where a lot of people fail on the financial side because they just don't know what to do. This is to give you a clear overview of where all your money is. Then from here, the biggest question I get is, how much percentage should I put in the different accounts? Here's targets. TAPS stands for target allocation percentages. Depending on the size of your business, which is this first row here, 0 to 250, all the way up to 10 to 50 million, these are the suggested percentages. If you're the end goal is to sell the property, these are the suggested targets for the different size of businesses. Down here is the rental company. So if you're buying, holds, seller finance, whatever, these are the percentages to shoot for as buy and hold investor. These are not set in stone. These are more like, what are the healthy businesses doing at these levels and how much is going to profit paying themselves? Like here you can see owners pays a lot more at the beginning because you probably don't have a lot of employees when you're starting out. But when you get bigger, that owners pay percentage goes down, but you're making more. And then you have to pay the team, but you're still getting paid what you're worth. It's just now a smaller percentage of a bigger pie. but this just gives you a good target. So if you're like, I'm nowhere near that, when we start like analyzing this with people, so many people are like they're way out of whack. Usually their operating expenses are like 80-90%, and they're probably paying themselves 10% or less, but they just don't know. They don't know where they're spending it. They don't know where the money's going out the door. This is a target where if you are that upside down, it's giving you, okay, over the next quarter, how much can we go from 90% OPEX down to, can I go down to 90, 85, 80, just start to slowly scale down the expenses while increasing what you're keeping. So that's the taps. Everyone's getting this sheet too. So if you're trying to take a picture, saw some people doing that. It's like you also get this at the end. And so with Joey, I'm a very visual person as an entrepreneur. At the beginning, he was like, I'm not setting up all those accounts. I'm like, you're setting up all those accounts, or do you want to be in the exact same place where you were a year ago? So then he set up all the accounts, and then he sends me a screenshot every year. He's like, dude, I would never go back to one account. Look at this. I know how much is coming in, how much is going out, how much is for my taxes, for my profit, income from the other business, my OPM rehab, what can I pay myself? Like, it's all there in black and white. Like, I at least know the dollars that I have designated for the different areas of my business. Then on the left-hand side on the top, he sent me this picture in 2020. This was the first vacation he took from his profit account that he didn't have to worry about. Was it touching any of his other accounts, or could he take this and feel bad about? Like, that was a guilt-free vacation. That was why he started the business, was to spend time with the family, and he was able to do that. A simple 3-day weekend. If you've read Profit First, the original, Mike Michalowicz talks about his first profit draw was like $10, so he bought an ice cream cone and said it was the best tasting ice cream cone ever because it was his money and he didn't have to worry about that he was robbing from other accounts or from other things inside of his business, from his payroll or marketing. That's where I want you to get to that point. You have a profit account and it's serving you. And on the bottom, this is what's great. To bring the story full circle with the CPA, he walks in the last 3 years to her office and says, okay, how are my books looking now? First year and every other year, she said, what in the world happened? Like, looking at your books, I would get into real estate. And like, you're actually profitable. You're even with your rentals, with your other stuff that you're doing and the sales that you have from, your wholesale and fix and flip, you have enough profit that you're owed taxes. So he's like, tell me the number. The first year she told him the number and he's like, let me look at my phone. He pulls up the little bank accounts like that. And he has almost down to like, he's $100 within the range. Like, he has $100 extra. He's like, where do I send the money? She's like, what? And she has to pick herself off the floor this time. And she said, okay, like, send it here. He's like, good. I don't want to talk to you for another year. So then he goes back the next 2 years. She tells him the number. It's the same story. But then the next 2 years, he has over 10,000 extra that he saved because he was able to take more depreciation or bought more rentals. Like, just from his estimates, he was overestimating. And that's where he was able to, the first year, buy an RV with the extra profits. And then the second year, for the extra from the tax account, he gave to a camp for kids, which we'll talk about at the end of number 3 and what he did there. But that's where I want you, instead of worrying at tax time, potentially giving yourself a tax refund. Like, I've done that. A lot of our clients do this. So, like, we even did this year. We overestimated. So that way I'd rather have more money in my account than less. Than like be at like, oh shoot, I got to do 2 more deals just to get this done. That's where the power of the system, knowing where the dollars are going. He told me, David, I did less deals in 2020 than I did in 2019. And this is the least I think I've done, because in 2020, he did 5 deals. He did what he was projecting. And he said, I have more money in my account than I've ever had before. And I'm like, boom, that is the power of the system. That is what I want for each person on this call here, is like, just to see the power of the clarity. If you have clarity around the numbers, what it gives you. That's why REsimpli is such an awesome platform too, because it gives you a lot of that clarity for a lot of the different KPIs in your business. But I want you to have that as well on the back end with your cash and the money, because a P&L is 100% different than the cash in your bank account. So I want you to have a simple system that makes sense for you as the entrepreneur.